everybody, I finally saw The Exorcist Believer, and would you believe me if I told you it's not very good? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris. Thanks for stopping by and watching my review for The Exorcist Believer. It's a movie, and it's not very good, and let's get into why I believe that, because I'm a believer in my own opinions that this movie is not very good. So, this movie was directed by the great David Gordon Green, who he directed that Halloween trilogy or trilogy, whichever you prefer. I have mixed thoughts on that whole trilogy. I've reviewed all those on the channel if you want to check those out. But let's get into this. This was written by people who know words, and they know how to say words, and they can write them on a paper, but they just don't know how to put them all together. I'll use this for an example. I'm gonna write something for you. Here we go. I wrote it for you. There it is. It says, "This movie sucks." That's what I wrote. And you know what? That's the best constructed sentence that I could put together, just on par with theirs. So this movie, like I said, directed by David Gordon Green, and it's supposed to spur this new trilogy of films, which I am not looking forward to. But what is this movie about? Well, this movie is a requel to the original masterpiece, The Exorcist. I recently did a 4K review of that, if you want to check that out. Kind of see my thoughts on the film. It's a great movie. I don't know why we need to discuss that. But this revolves around two girls, Katherine and Angela, who go out into the woods one day because Angela wants to speak to her dead mother, and when they come back 3 days later, they bring back something that they didn't bargain for. So this is not a great story overall. It's a lot of nonsense. Ellen Burstyn is in this movie as Chris again, Reagan's mother, and it's baffling why they used her here. If you thought they didn't use Laurie Strode correctly in the trilogy, then you're in for a rude awakening with Ellen Burstyn, who is wildly misused in this movie. And I hope they paid her a bucket of money, which they probably had to get her back in this, because it is just useless all around. The only character that I actually really liked was, I made notes because I don't remember their names. Anyway, Tanner, Leslie Odom Jr. does a great job. This movie overall is pretty boring, but for me, I was kind of wrapped up in his story. Overall, I think it's the one through line that does work throughout the film. It's just his personal story with his wife and his daughter. So in the very beginning, we start in Haiti. Him and his wife are both photographers, and there's an earthquake, and he has to make a decision at one point if he's going to save his wife or his daughter. Now we jump to 13 years later, and obviously he chose his daughter, or so we think, but I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but that's kind of the juxtaposition where they're mirroring that decision there to a later decision in the film, which, like any good video game or any Bethesda game, the decisions you make don't matter. We follow these girls, again, who come back. There's seemingly something wrong with them. They don't remember the events that happened in the woods. Is typical of possession. And then they later find out that they're possessed, and now they're trying to figure out how to undo the possession. And so they go to great lengths. Now, there's a mirroring of characters here between Ellen Burstyn's character in the original film and Leslie Odom Jr. character here, where he's not really a believer, but there are people around him that do believe. It's a mess of a movie, man. Like I said, the first quarter I was kind of on board with. I was following these characters, and I really felt for the dad here who had to make this incredible decision, and he's now trying to reel with this with his daughter. The daughter wants to connect to the mother, and so they, like I said, she has this friend that goes, but the other family in this movie is just relegated to white people who go to church, and now we have Christians who need to be there because there's an opposing position. That's the only reason I feel in this movie. I have no connection. I don't even care about the other girl, to be honest, and I don't know if that was a conscious decision, but Angela is far more engaged, and that story felt like it should have just been about her. I don't know why we needed this other thing. The only reason is so they could have this dumb thing happen at the end, which I'm not going to spoil, but that's the only reason I can see that they decided that there needed to be two girls in this movie as opposed to just focusing on one because they're like, we don't want to copy the original and just have one girl, we got to have two. But the thing is, what people fail to realize is that the original movie is not about Reagan. It's about everybody else. It's about the priest. That is what the movie is about. So having this focus on the girls is irrelevant. People misunderstand so many times what The Exorcist is about, and it's really annoying because that's why those sequels failed. I think it's about the demons. I think about it's all this. It's about Father Caraway. It's about these characters and their interaction and their, inner turmoil, inner demons with their faith. And now this is just manifesting in this girl, and they've got to confront it. So overall, David Gordon Green clearly does not understand what is great about The Exorcist. He's seen it. He's watched it, but he doesn't get it. Just like so many people have come before. The Exorcist 3 is a great movie, but it's very different, but it still is about a core character and them confronting evil. That's what it's about. So this is not about that. It's about this dad kind of reeling from the loss of his wife, and then now his daughter's gone. He's trying to figure out and pick up the pieces and see if he can solve the riddle of how to get rid of him. So they basically collect all these different faiths to try and battle this thing at the end. It's not good, man. It's not good. I know I'm just ranting about this movie, but Leslie Odom Jr. is great. His acting is great. He's superb. The other thing we need to talk about, my two main negatives, other than the story being a complete mess and not, satisfying in any way, the ending is a whole other thing, which just pissed me off. I knew they were going to do it. The whole movie, I'm like, when are they going to do it? And they did the thing. And I still hated it, even though I knew they were going to do the thing. My two big negatives in this movie, one is the editing. Two, again, is the story and the reliance on shot-for-shot crap from the original movie, which I don't know why we needed. So first thing, the editing is so frantic. I feel like there's two separate movies here. We've got the first half, which is just this cut transition thing, with just beat for beat stuff that happened in the original. And then the second movie, the second half of the movie is allowed to breathe a little bit without that frantic stuff. So I just don't understand the stylistic choice of editing. It's here's the thing, flash, here's the thing, flash, here's the thing, flash. It's really irritating. And it's just we get it. You're very good at editing. And the other thing I don't like about David Gordon Green's choices in this movie is that every transition is prefaced by a loud fucking sound. It's got to be ooh, dogs barking, bam, door shutting. It's just you're just meant to jump a little bit because these transitions are so abrupt. If I was to just have a transition where I would just cut and there was a loud noise, that's basically what it is. This movie is not scary at all. It's not good. It's directed fine, competently, I guess. Halloween Ends is a masterpiece in comparison to this movie here because at least he had a vision. You may not like the vision he had, but at least it was interesting and well done. I'll say personally, I didn't mind that movie, but this is a far cry from that because at least there, they were hey, we're going to do something wildly different while still holding on to some of the things we did before. This movie is just bad in all rights. They don't even use the music correctly. I don't know, which I would have been happy if they didn't use it at all. So this is nothing in Exorcist other than in name. And I don't look forward to the movies that come after this. I don't think they're going to be good at all. And I'm not going to talk anymore about this movie at all. I'm looking down here. I just want to turn off the mic. This movie is so bad. Let me know down below. What do you think about The Exorcist Believer? Have you seen it? Are you excited for The Exorcist trilogy, whatever you want to call it? I'm not. I'm just so defeated, man. This year has just been such a bummer. I mean, there's been some great horror this year, but October is just such a bummer. You really didn't have to worry about, going up against Taylor Swift because I think that would have been a better movie-going experience. And I hate Taylor Swift, and I hate that music, but I think maybe I would have enjoyed that a little more. Maybe would have had pep in my step when I left the theater. So overall, not a great movie, but you let me know what you think about this movie. Did you like it? Are you one of those contrary people where you're like, no, I like it? I'm not saying everything didn't work in this movie. There are a few things. Like I said, Leslie Odom's character and that small story, I think that they could have expanded into a full movie, may have worked. but it's no scary things. It's just flashing and all of that stuff. It's really annoying. I'm so tired of it. I'm gonna go to bed now because it's getting late. My brain hurts. You're probably tired of hearing me rant about how bad The Exorcist Believer is. So I'm gonna link some videos for you at the end. As always, if you like what we do here, consider becoming part of the collective, and you can join me, in watching good movies and weird obscure movies like Headhunter. We're gonna talk about Headhunter soon. Check out all my 4K reviews, all my other reviews. We've got a lot coming in October, and so that's all I've got. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you guys in my next review.